Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessing be multiplied on all you brethren out there teaching his word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the elect, 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Damal Gabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. All right, and I was listening to this video when I was at slavery last night. And, it just brought upon a few scriptures that was popping into my head as I was listening to the atrocities and, the wickedness of this damn devil, E. And, at the end of the day, this man has so much hell to pay. He has so much vengeance headed his way. And, all the wickedness and the things that he's reaped, he's going to sow, many-fold, in the kingdom of heaven. And when it's time for us to, bring vengeance upon this man. And, and it's like we only know so much of the things that he's done to our people, ever since we've been in his possession, ever since he's been, able to have the dominion over us, man. He's truly played out the vengeance and the wrath of his forefather Esau, of his forefather Edom, when he said, the times are coming when my father will be dead and I will kill my brother Jacob. He meant that to the core. And this is why the scripture said that he's had a perpetual hatred against Jacob and against the Israelites and against you Negroes, Latinos, and you Native Americans, man. And his hatred and is on full display. And guess what? I know as much as you Jake don't want to admit it, he still has that perpetual hatred for you. And his hatred is still not finished yet, And I was listening to this video, it just, it pisses you off, man. But it just shows you, the complete and utter disdain and the hatred that this man has for you. And, the way that, he will go about and justifying just complete and utter wickedness and hatred for you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And you need to wake the hell up, And I was listening to this video. It immediately made me think of Bishop Nate when he was over there seeking, trimming his way to seek love on that radio show with that one broad talking about hate is a strong word. We don't hate anybody. God hates Esau. We don't hate Edomites. He's a pussy. I just got to say it like that. He's a fucking pussy. He's a sellout. He's a charlatan. And ultimately, he's not fit for the business of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All right. And we just listen to this video. It shows you every reason why this damn devil Esau Edom was created to be hated, and we do hate his ass, man. Now, again, hate don't mean that we're going to act out with violence. With every time I see a so-called Edomite, I'm going to just act out with violence and go crazy and go berserk and try to execute judgment on this damn devil. But we do know that the time is coming where we are going to be able to execute our vengeance and our hatred upon these damn devils, thus saith the Lord. And it's going to be in the kingdom of heaven. Right now, the Lord is just building up our righteous, perfect hatred for this man. And like I said, the time is coming where we are going to be able to execute it. We are going to be able to, give him his just desserts, man. Scriptures tell you that, in Obadiah, the Most High is going to fill, he's going to bend the bow with Judah and fill the bow with Ephraim. And, there's going to be none remaining of the house of Esau, man. I'm going to play this video after I drop these couple of precepts, man. And it just shows you just a few of the things of why this man deserves to be ultimately hated by you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and you Israelites, man. All right? Don't get it twisted and thinking now because he's not blatantly out here doing these things unto you, that he's okay and that he's changed. He's never changed. Remember, scriptures tell you in Revelations 12:12, the day is coming where this man's getting ready to come down with great wrath. He's going to show you, Jake, before all is said and done, how much he truly hates you, how much he truly hates your guts, man. All right? And if you don't want to realize that, you don't want to accept it, you're going to be in a stupid, dumbed down, Christian spirit of, you got to love everybody and God is love bullshit. Yeah, you're going to see how much that's going to ring true when the Lord allows this man to take off, to expose his horns, and he comes in these last days with that great wrath, man. So let me get these couple of precepts, man. And this is James chapter 2, verse 13. It says, "For he shall have judgment without mercy that have showed no mercy. And mercy rejoiceth against judgment." And when you listen to this little 8-minute video, just a few things that are going to be said and explained, you're going to see why this man is going to have judgment with no mercy, man. All right. And any of you, Jake, in that day come, you try to stand in the way, you try to get involved, you try to intervene with what Esau has coming unto him, then, hey, may you be thrust through just as well as him, man. All right. And this is Proverbs chapter 21 and 12. "The righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but the Most High overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard." See? And this is what this devil has coming unto you. And it's going to be well deserved, man. Beyond deserved. You see? And hey, and we can't wait to see the day, because it's going to be done justly. It's going to be done righteously, man. All right? And let me get this last one. Revelations 13 and 10 in the NLT, it says, "Anyone who was destined for prison will be taken to prison. Anyone destined to die by the sword will die by the sword. This means that the Most High's holy people must endure persecution patiently and remain faithful." See? And we are going to remain faithful because we fully understand what this man's destiny and what he's destined for. And it's going to be played out in real time and in real life. It's going to be real blood, real pain, man. Real vengeance, real punishments, real judgment upon this bastard, man. And it can't happen fast enough. So without further ado, I'm going to play this video. It's about 8 minutes long, from Arrows of Indignation. Subscribe and be edified. And let that be that, man. So here we go.
Region started roughly in the 1600s and continued into the 1800s. There were certain things that became common practice. There was a way in which the law and archival records supported rape and the commodification of women's bodies. Under the colonial slave codes, for instance, enslaved women were legally defined as property. They didn't have rights over their own bodies, and so the rape of an enslaved woman by a master wasn't considered a crime under colonial law, but instead it was considered to be a trespass against another slave owner if she was owned by somebody else. And so essentially, the woman was not the victim. The victim was the man that owned the woman. And I just find that to be just so egregious. And we continue to see these layers of that mindset and thought even to today, as we continue to have these conversations around women's bodies and women's rights, and all of the ways in which we're seeing a almost fork in the road of where society will take itself, whether that is to a place where women continue to experience continued liberation, or to a place where we see the rolling back of women's rights. There was even a legal doctrine. It was called the partus sequitur ventrum. It's Latin. It means that which is born follows the womb. And it was a crucial legal precedent in the Caribbean and the Americas, and it determined that a child's status as enslaved or free was based on their mother's status, making slavery hereditary and ensuring the perpetual growth of enslaved populations. This was deeply embedded in colonial law, especially under Spanish, Portuguese, and English rule. And it allowed for the foundation to be constructed of generational bondage and racialized slavery. So what this did was it created a direct economic incentive for masters and overseers to rape enslaved women in order to increase their enslaved workforce without having to purchase. So enslaved women were often classified in plantation records alongside livestock and tools, which reinforced their status as commodities whose reproductive and productive capacities were to be maximized.
No white could ever rape of law as to the white race on the subject of sexual intercourse do not and cannot, for obvious reasons, apply to slaves. Their intercourse is promiscuous. We've now justified raping black women because they can't be raped. We aren't raping them. They're promiscuous by nature. So we can't do it. Forward, one more. The fact that white men could profit from raping their female slaves does not mean that their motive was economic. The rape of slave women by their masters was primarily a weapon of terror that reinforced whites' domination over their human property. Rape was an act of physical violence designed to stifle black women's will to resist and to remind them of their servile status. These become important instruments that you look at. And I want to give you some statistics as it relates to American history. By the mid-1800s, there was over 600,000 mixed race children born. 600,000. How many of you know what miscegenation is? Miscegenation is an illegal marriage between people of different races. Actually, it was very profound here. It was illegal to marry someone of another race. So when you consider the fact that one of the greatest issues and one of the number one reasons why black men were lynched, beaten, and imprisoned had to do with the fear that they were going to rape whom? White women. Now the numbers, I mean, we're talking about pure numbers alone. It was who being raped? Okay, it was black women being raped, but they can be raped. Let's advance forward. Before we get into the Casual Killing Act, the Casual Killing Act was written because of the number of people who were killed while being corrected. Okay. And if any slave resists his master, owner, or other person by his or her order, correcting such slave and shall happen to be killed in such correction, it shall not be counted felony, but the master, owner, and every other person so giving correction shall be acquitted of all punishment and accusation for the same, as if such accident had never happened. So that means that if you happen to be correcting someone and you beat them to death, you know how hard it is to beat someone to death? I mean, I thought about that. I said it happened so frequently that they created a law so that you wouldn't feel any what? No guilt, because you were simply correcting them. Wasn't your fault. So I went back to look at who was beating folks to death. I wanted to know. And it was white women. White women were beating black children to death. That's who was being beaten to death. But it wasn't her fault. She was just correcting them. You see, what we do is we rob ourselves of our own humanity when we refuse to look at this stuff. We rob ourselves of our humanity. And that's what people didn't know happened. Going forward, one more. Then you had the mental health folks. This is how we got in. We got in to try to fix it. In the early years of the 19th century, a physician named Samuel A. Cartwright argued that two particular forms of mental illness caused by nerve disorders were prevalent among slaves. One was drapetomania, which was diagnosable by a single symptom: the uncontrollable urge to escape from slavery. So now what we've done is we've now pathologized your desire to be free. Must be something wrong with them. Keep trying to free themselves. And again, it would be funny if it weren't in journals. You see, all of this is to remove the cognitive dissonance. Now look at all the people joining in. You got Linnaeus, you got anthropology, you got physicians. All of them saying they deserve it. It's not us. We don't need to adjust anything. And if they just tried harder, how about you people just pull yourselves up from your bootstraps? What's the matter with you? The playing field has been leveled. Well, we're going to see if, in fact, it's been leveled. Or is that conjecture? Move forward. Now, I want you to look at this photo very closely, and I want you to see who's in it. More important than the man hanging, because you got to understand the lynchings that occurred in America happened after slavery, not during. Thousands of lynchings happened after slavery, because this is a reaction to white fear of what we would do once freed. But we didn't create a vigilante group to take out white people, but they did create a vigilante group to take us out now that we're free. See, that happened after slavery. They were called the what? The Ku Klux Klan. They don't wear hoods anymore. They wear suits. But they're alive and well all over the world, even here. So, look at who's in the picture. I want you to look at this little girl in particular. You can't see her closely, but she's actually grimacing, like smirking. Now, remember, let's go back to the puppy concept here. She would be loathed and torn up probably if this was a puppy, which means he's less than that. Because she's not disturbed. This little girl is not disturbed by this, but she should be, shouldn't she? People always ask me, they go, Joy, what was the impact on white people? There it is. Right there. Can't feel any empathy for him.